You wake before the sun, not because you want to, not because you are used to early mornings, but because your morning belongs to someone else. The room is still dark. For a few seconds you do not move, you just lie there and listen. Someone is breathing close to you. Someone else shifts in their sleep. The straw under your shoulder scratches your skin. The air feels warm, stale, and heavy, as if the walls have been holding yesterday inside them all night. You are tired before the day even starts. Your back hurts. Your hands feel dry and stiff. When you rub your fingers together, you can still feel the flour from yesterday caught in the cracks of your skin. No one has called your name yet. They do not need to. You already know where you have to be. The grain will need grinding. The ovens will need heat. The bread will need to be ready before the city becomes too loud to hear itself. Outside, Pompeii is still quiet. For a short while, the streets almost belong to no one. But not to you. You sit up carefully. You have learned to move that way, not too slowly, not too suddenly, not in a way that draws attention. In your life, even waking up has a method. And the first rule is simple. Do not make the day harder than it already has to be. Pompeii is not a ruin yet. It is not silent. It is not frozen in ash. It is not a place for visitors to walk through and wonder who once lived here. It is alive. The city wakes in pieces. First come the animals, hooves against stone, a mule protesting somewhere behind a wall, then the ovens breathing heat into rooms that were never truly cool. Then the voices, a door opening, a command given, water carried, shutters moved, a vendor preparing for the street. The stones under your feet are worn smooth by years of people who have crossed them before you. Free citizens, freedmen, traders, children, servants, slaves, people with names painted on walls, people with names nobody bothers to remember. Pompeii smells of smoke, damp stone, oil, sweat, animals, wine, and bread. You know the city well, but not in the way a free man knows it. You know the back entrances, the service rooms, the places where people like you stand until needed. You know which doors you may enter, which voices you must answer, and which eyes you should avoid. There are words everywhere in this city. Painted notices, election slogans, names scratched into plaster, jokes, insults, advertisements, warnings, boasts. Pompeii is full of people writing themselves into the world. But none of those words are for you. You move through the city before it fully becomes itself, before the richer men step into courtyards, before bathhouses fill with conversation, before the streets grow loud enough to hide the smaller sounds of labor. This is the hour when invisible work begins. And your body is part of it. The bakery is already warmer than the street. Even before the oven has reached its full heat, the room feels closed around you. Stone walls hold yesterday's warmth. The air is thick with dust. Grain waits in sacks. Tools wait where they were left. The millstones stand heavy and patient, as if they have all the time in the world. You do not. The flour finds every part of you. It settles on your arms, your neck, your hair, the corners of your eyes. By sunrise, your skin will be marked white in places, as if the work is slowly covering you, turning you into part of the room. The mill is not gentle. Stone turns against stone, grain breaks, dust rises. Somewhere close, an animal strains in a slow circle, made to walk the same path again and again. You understand that path better than you want to. The shape of your day is also a circle. Lift, carry, grind, sweep, knead, feed the oven, move when told, wait when watched, continue when tired. Bread looks simple when it reaches a table. Warm, round, necessary. But it begins here, in heat and stone, and the labor of bodies that the city does not stop to see. You have watched men buy bread with casual hands. You have seen children tear it open in the street. You have smelled fresh loaves cooling near the mouth of the oven, while your own stomach tightened. The bread belongs to the household, to the customers, to the people with money, to the people with names. Your hands help make it. That does not make it yours. The oven glows, the room brightens, smoke darkens the ceiling, someone calls for more grain, someone complains about the pace, someone laughs outside free enough to waste breath. You keep working. You have learned that exhaustion is not an argument. Your shoulders burn, your palms sting. Sweat runs down your back and gathers under the rough cloth of your tunic. When you breathe in, you taste flour. When you breathe out, you feel the room take more from you. There are moments when your mind goes quiet. Not peaceful, just empty. The kind of emptiness that comes when the body is doing what it has been forced to do for too long. You do not think about tomorrow. Tomorrow is too large. You think about the next sack, the next command, the next chance to drink, the next moment when no one is looking. That is how a day becomes possible. Not by hope, by pieces. A free poor man can hate his work and still own his footsteps. You cannot. That is the difference people do not always see. Hard work is everywhere in Pompeii. Free laborers strain under loads. Shopkeepers sleep near their counters. Farmers worry over harvests. Sailors curse the weather. Poor families count food carefully and pray that sickness passes them by. But poverty is not the same as being owned. You are not hired. You are kept. You are not paid for the hours. The hours are not yours to sell. Your body is useful, so it is maintained, fed enough to continue, watched enough to obey, corrected when someone decides correction is needed. There are days when no one strikes you. There are days when no one shouts. There are even moments when someone speaks to you almost kindly, as if kindness can soften the fact that your life is held in another person's hand. You learn not to trust tone too much. A mild voice can still give an order. A smiling owner can still sell you. A household can depend on you every day and still never forget what it thinks you are. Property. Not only a worker, not only a servant, not only a person with tired hands and private thoughts. Property with a human face. That is the part that sits inside your chest and does not leave. You may be needed. You may be skilled. You may know the bakery better than someone who profits from it. You may understand the oven, the grain, the timing, the customers, the rhythm of the morning. But knowledge does not free you. Usefulness does not free you. Being necessary is not the same as being safe. So you become careful. Careful with your eyes, careful with your answers, careful with silence, careful with anger because anger has nowhere safe to go. You learn which footsteps mean hurry, which pauses mean danger, which moods in other people will become your problem. You learn to read a room before entering it. You learn to disappear while standing in plain sight. When you eat, it is not always because someone is merciful. Sometimes it is because a weak body is bad property. That is one of the cruelest truths. You may eat better than someone sleeping free in an alley. You may have bread, porridge, beans, olives, watered wine, scraps from a table, or whatever the household allows. You may be kept strong enough to lift, grind, carry, knead, and wake again before dawn. A full stomach can still belong to another man. Food can keep you alive without giving you a life. You sit where you are allowed to sit. You eat when there is a pause, not when hunger first arrives. You swallow quickly because rest has a way of ending the moment your body begins to believe in it. Nearby, richer food may pass through your hands. Better bread, fruit, fish sauce, wine that is not meant for you, dishes carried toward rooms where people speak of politics, business, inheritance, games, repairs, weather, gossip. The ordinary concerns of people whose lives are recognized as their own. You hear pieces of these conversations. A price has changed. A wall needs painting. Someone is angry about an election. Someone is planning to visit the baths. Someone complains that the bread is late. You look down at your hands. The bread is late because bodies like yours can only move so fast. But that is not something anyone wants to hear. By mid-morning, Pompeii is fully awake. The streets fill with movement. Water runs from public fountains. Sandaled feet step over stones. A shopkeeper arranges goods near the entrance. A customer argues over price. A child darts through a doorway before someone calls him back. You are sent through the city, and for a moment the air outside feels almost like freedom. Almost. The sky is open. The street is bright. Voices echo off plaster walls. You pass houses with painted entrances, shops with counters open to the road, and walls covered in names of men asking to be chosen for office. Choices painted everywhere. That is the strange thing. The city speaks constantly of status, ambition, reputation, business, family, public honor. Men want to be seen. Families want to be remembered. Freedmen want their success noticed. The wealthy want their houses admired. But you move through all of it like a shadow with errands. You know the city by what it demands from you. The bakery needs fuel. The household needs water. Someone needs a message carried. Someone needs a floor cleaned. Someone needs you to wait, hold, lift, fetch, watch, move, return. You pass the baths, where bodies are cleaned and conversations flow. You pass doorways that lead to painted rooms you may enter only to serve. You pass people who were once enslaved and are now free, or freer than you are, carrying themselves differently in the street. You notice that difference. Of course you do. Freedom changes the way a person stands. It is not always dramatic. It may be something small, the speed of a step, the lift of a chin, the way someone pauses without looking over a shoulder. You wonder whether they remember. You wonder whether they try not to. You wonder if anyone who has left a life like yours can ever fully stop hearing commands in ordinary voices. Then someone calls. Your moment ends. You go back. Freedom exists in Pompeii. You have seen it. Not as a dream from a story, not as a miracle from the gods, but as something that walks in the street wearing ordinary sandals. A freedman at a shop counter, a woman managing business for a household, a man who once obeyed and now gives instructions to others, people whose past may still follow them, but whose present has changed enough for the city to treat them differently. So you know freedom is possible. That does not make it promised. There is no straight road from obedience to liberty, no fair bargain written into the stones, no rule that says if you suffer long enough, work hard enough, stay quiet enough, someone will open the door. Freedom depends on another person's decision. On money, usefulness, age, skill, affection, convenience, reputation, luck. Always luck. You may be allowed to save a little. Or not. You may be trusted. Or not. You may become too valuable to release. Or not valuable enough to keep kindly. You may serve in a household where manumission is possible, or in one where hope is only another thing that makes work easier to endure. So you do not build your life on freedom. You carry the thought carefully, like a small coal hidden in ash. Too much hope can be dangerous. Too little can make you stop moving. Beyond the roofs, beyond the streets, beyond the walls and vineyards and ordinary noise of the city, the mountain waits. But to you, it is not waiting. It is simply there. Part of the horizon, part of the shape of the world, a familiar rise beyond Pompeii, softened by distance and weather, seen so often that it has become background. People do not wake each morning fearing the shape of the horizon. They fear hunger, debt, sickness, punishment, bad harvests, bad masters, bad luck, a roof that leaks, a fever that does not break, a command given in anger, a sail that separates one body from another without asking what the heart can survive. The mountain does not enter your thoughts the way these things do. Why would it? The ovens smoke, the streets fill, the mills turn, people buy, sell, bathe, argue, flirt, pray, boast, cheat, laugh, and complain. The city behaves as if the future has already agreed to arrive. You behave the same way. Not because you are foolish. Because ordinary life gives people no choice but to believe in the next hour. You still have work to finish. History will remember Pompeii for the day it ended. For the ash. For the bodies. For the room sealed in time. For the terrible stillness that came after heat, noise, breath, and fear. But you do not live inside history. You live inside a morning. A dark room, a rough blanket, a command, a stone floor under bare or worn feet, flour under your nails, smoke in your throat, the ache in your back that has become so familiar it almost feels like part of your name. The city is alive. You are not free. And the day begins as it always does. Not with prophecy, not with warning, not with music or meaning or a sign from the gods. It begins with work. In the dark before the sun, under someone else's command. No heroes. No destiny. Just survival.